Let's talk some Santa Anita for December the 29th for Friday. I have a couple best bets throughout the card, looking at some horses in races 1, 5, and 7. Two stakes races on the card. Santa Anita, they're going to try to beat some of the rain that's forecasted to come into Southern California this weekend. I think more on Saturday than on Friday. So fingers crossed that we can get to some of the good turf racing on Friday. I'm recording this one on Thursday evening. Not too much wet weather as of yet. But as we get ready, like always, we're going to be diving into those daily racing form past performances. That's how I prep. I'm always using DRF past performances, in particular the daily racing form formulator style. And what's nice, throughout Santa Anita's meet, they have past performances, DRF picks, and clocker reports every racing day at Santa Anita. So if you need any help with your handicapping, they've got you covered. If you just need past performances to dive into, they get your starting point right there. Remember, you can get free PPs when you sign up for DRF bets. Use the promo code STAKES. They'll give you a $200 match deposit bonus right off the bat. And then you can have free all access past performances because they give you 10 of them right away when you use this promotion. And then every time you bet $50, they give you credit for another set of past performances. So the more you wager, the more you're getting free past performances. See if we can lead you to a few winners on the Friday card. So race number 1, it's a mile and an eighth on the turf. It's a maiden 50 claimer. I'm looking at the number 4, Pray For Me, Ray. This is a 5-year-old who's obviously had some physical issues, right? He's just going to be making his 7th career start. He's 5. We see big gaps, in particular one big gap from August of 2022 to August of 2023. Missed a full year, then came back and had to miss a couple months. That's never a positive sign. But this horse has some good races on the grass early in his career against better. In fact, all 3 of his turf races are solid. They're against maiden special weight races. He was never beaten more than 2 3/4 lengths in any of those 3 races. He was favored against maiden special weights in one of them, the last race we saw before that long layoff. And he's gone a mile and a 16th. He finished second at a mile against maiden special weights at Del Mar. Those are good races. Now, off for a while, shows back up, doesn't run well in that maiden 50 at Del Mar on August 17th on the dirt. Then on December the 16th at Los Alamitos, he shows back up, and it's a big drop. He's down at the maiden $20,000 level. He's trying the dirt. They're just seeing if he's got anything left. I thought he ran really well this day. Let's watch this race. He's inside, and he's not that far out of it. Because I think at the lower levels, they probably are able to show a little bit more positional speed with him. At least they showed it here. So now I'm thinking maybe this horse doesn't have to be dead last like he was in a lot of his races when they went, maybe a little quicker, or even in those races going long on the turf. He's sitting 4th here, not in a bad spot. He's only 2 out of it down on the inside, but he's going to get caught in between horses here. And he's going to end up at the top of the lane when they, get a little deeper into the race, like way out in the middle of the track, and he really starts moving late. So right here, you could see he's in between. He's still in the 2 path. He's moving right into contention, but he has nowhere to go because he's buried. He has the 2 horses both in front of him, and then the 3's pinned him to the outside, inside. 4 was right there to his outside and then backed up. 6 and 7 both pinned to the outside. He can't tip around yet. So now he's got to wait while these other horses get to make their move. And Pray For Me, Ray will now angle to the outside, and he does really get going late. I think he's just a horse who wants distance, and he's always been a horse who seemed like he did his best running late in races. We can really see it here, too, with the kind of trip that he was getting. I just don't think he needs to be as far back. And I'm hoping that he can just show a little more positional speed. Watch him right now start to get into a nice stride right down the middle of the racetrack. And he's a very tight 3rd in here, only beaten 3/4 of a length. Just misses 2nd when the horse on the inside is able to just hold on, but he had to kind of shift out a bit late. Now he feels like he's trending back in the right direction. That race was just a couple weeks ago. So he wheels back quickly. He steps up a little bit to face this maiden 50 level, but we already know he's been competitive at better levels. For him, he's just had a tough time staying on the track. I also feel like he's a little more positional. He's got tactical now. He has a little more positional speed. He's a really interesting horse to me in this spot. And I'm looking at the way the race shapes up. Feels like you've got Caribbean King, who's going to be pushing the pace here. You've got Smooth Salute. I wouldn't be shocked if he's close up. That race he exits, they went really fast early, and Dettori's very aggressive rider, as we've seen a lot of times. He could put him in a really nice spot. Quintessence wants to be forwardly placed. I wouldn't be shocked to see Ghost Close sitting close, which he's shown some speed here, and Nyquiller. Combinations of all of those horses could be wanting to get early position, and I think that sets up very well for Pray For Me Ray, who is 6-1 on the morning line, the number 4 in race 1 at Santa Anita on Friday. Let's move to race number 5. This one's the Blue Norther. It's a 2-year-old turf stakes race for this one is for the fillies, and then we will have the boys coming up in race number 7 in the Eddie Logan. So looking at this field, you have the number 6 Zona Verde, who won the Jimmy Durante with a lot of similar horses on December 2nd at Del Mar. She was way out wide that day. She drew an outside post, and Hernandez got aggressive with her, and he put her right on the front end. She's not a need the lead horse. We've seen her come from off the pace previously. Now, I don't think she's nearly as fast as Chadlas. And the real key is, will the 3-horse take to the turf? But she wins her debut going 5.5 sprinting, and she's right there, like on the lead throughout. Then she's in the Del Mar debutante. She's only 3-1 against Tamara. And again, she's in contention. She's only a couple lengths out of it when Tamara makes that big move and wins by 6+. Chadlas comes back and stretches out in the Chandelier, goes gate to wire, winning that race against Grade 2 Company. Then they put her in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile filly. She's just a little bit overmatched that day. She comes back last time out. She actually favored in that race. She didn't really run all that well. To me, she's a real pace presence. Like, I don't want to see her sitting as much. I want them to get aggressive with her. Like, I don't know how far she wants to go sitting off the pace and passing horses. I want this to be get aggressive, put her right on the lead. She's naturally a lot faster than Zona Verde and anybody else in this race. I guess it comes down to April Vintage to the outside, who's been like showing some of that sprint speed. And I just look at this race, and I think Chadlas is pretty classy. They're going to get aggressive with her. I like Chadlas in here, trying the turf for the first time. Let's move to the other stakes race, which is race number 7. It is the Eddie Logan. This one is for 2-year-olds. I'm looking at the 5, Twirling Point. Now, in her debut, she was actually favored at Kentucky in a stakes, or at Kentucky in a maiden special weight race. Lost to a horse named Can Group. Can Group came back to beat Grade 2 Company next time out. So the race came back live. She had trouble in that race and just never got into it in her debut. Brutal start out of it, put a line right through it. She comes back in her second start up at Woodbine. She wins. They just get a little more aggressive with her. Honestly, I think that happens sometimes early on with these 2-year-olds when you just know a horse is good. You like a horse. You want them to be more forwardly placed, especially coming off of a race where she got slammed out of the gate and had no shot. Why I'm pointing that out is I don't think she's a need the lead horse, and I don't think she's as fast as a lot of other horses in this race. Going through the field, Charge for Gold was on the lead last time out. She was not far sprinting. I say she, he. These are 2-year-olds. We just talked about the fillies in race 5. These are the boys in the Eddie Logan. So Charge for Gold, forwardly placed, draws the inside. Practically Broke was on the lead sprinting. Invincible has been quick in his last 3 starts, and in all of his starts, he's been forwardly placed. And you've got Final Boss, who was on the lead sprinting. You've got Miracle Mark, who's also really quick. American Hope is really quick. I think many of these horses are just naturally faster than Twirling Point, and I don't think Twirling Point is a horse who needs the lead by any way. You can check out her pedigree too. She's bred beautifully for the grass. She just won on the synthetic last time out, and she went over and tried the synthetic at Turfway, and she ran well. She finished second that day. But this is her dam, Kitten's Point, who was a 4-time winner on the grass, was a multiple graded stakes winner. And she's produced just one sibling to try the turf. Only one other sibling that's raced. It was a horse named Kitten Mischief. Kitten Mischief raced on the turf 6 times. One of them has been in the money. 3 of them. This horse most recently raced at Keeneland in October. I like Twirling Point. I hope this horse is sitting more mid-pack, just taken back a little bit with a patient rider in Kimura, who comes off of another really nice meet up at Woodbine. 6-1 on the morning line for Twirling Point. I think anything 7-2 or above, fair value in what looks like a pretty contentious race at Santa Anita on Friday. Okay, I just have to mention this horse. If some of you want to throw this horse in to any of your late exotics or maybe even underneath, I am a fan of this damn Miss Alfie. This horse, Classic Alfie, is 50-1 on the morning line. He debuted and he sprinted and he just was off slow and he never got into it. But I always follow this damn Miss Alfie, not because of her own success on track, but because of some of the horses that she's produced. One of my own personal favorite horses, a horse named Alfie's Bet, who had a big win for me in the Sham back in 2010 on the synthetic. But he's also a horse who was a decent horse on the grass as well. He broke his maiden on the turf. And going long on the turf is what this dam actually, a lot of these runners did really well. You can just find a lot of success when you go through them all the way. Prima Valentina's a horse who won on the turf. Here's Alfie's Bet. He came out of that grade 3 Sham. He tried the Santa Anita Derby. He ended up winning the Snow Chief on the synthetic. This is when Santa Anita Hollywood were on the synthetic surfaces, but he was good on the synthetic and on the turf. Blame It on Alfie was another horse who was very good on the grass. Blame It on Alfie was a multiple winner on the grass. We saw perform in against Stakes Company quite often and was not overmatched. Stakes placed in the misdirection coming down the hill. Unusual Heat Wave is another one who was good at just about this trip, right? Long on the turf, going a mile in the crystal water. So again, I don't know. In 2020 Vision recently was a horse who we saw in against graded Stakes Company and was a very legitimate horse going longer on the turf for coming all the way down and facing lower levels. But I just mentioned because anytime I see Alfie, Miss Alfie, and I think about Alfie's Bet, a horse that was a good score for me. That was early on in my days at TVG, and a horse that I had a good score on it at around 8-1 that day. So I'll always keep an eye on this horse. I'm going to throw this one into some underneath exotics. Maybe the horse doesn't show up, but as far as the pedigree is concerned, this is what the pedigree is, like a mile on the turf or so. I'm giving Classic Alfie a little bit of a look there in some late exotics. Good luck to everyone on Friday at Santa Anita. Remember, anything you need when you're playing those races, past performances, DRF picks every single day, clocker reports, help you out with those first timers, surface switches, layoffs. Keep an eye on the weather this week out at Santa Anita. Supposed to be wet at least on Saturday, so just monitor that for the races that you're playing. We'll have a video coming out for Saturday, and we'll also be doing a video on the Santa Anita feed for Saturday on the Santa Anita social medias, going over the Saturday pick 6. So that'll probably come out Friday evening. Good luck, everyone playing the races Friday at Santa Anita.